Good morning, everyone. Even though it's still Wednesday, you'll be seeing this on Thursday. I told you yesterday I was going to start doing a morning supplement to this channel just to give all the viewers a little bit something extra. So anyway, today we're going to be reviewing this Alan Kulwicki set that I recently purchased on eBay. Can't remember how much I paid for it, maybe $8 or $9. But you see it's a championship set here. Sports Legends. I think they made some other sets of some other drivers. Comes in a nice little box. There's the card company, K&M Card Company of Thomasville, North Carolina. I do not know if they are still in business or not anymore. Here you see statistics about Alan Kulwicki. This only covers 5 years of his career, 85, which was, he could only make 5 starts to be eligible for Rookie of the Year 1986. Of course, he did win Rookie of the Year in 86. There you see in 88, he got his first win, got his first pole in 1987. And there you see his career earnings in those 5 years. Flip it over here on the back side. We just got more of the checkerboard, and then not really anything on the bottom. So we'll go ahead and open this up. As you can see, it has a really attractive, almost like a felt casing there. I think there's 30 cards in the set. Yeah, there's 30 cards in the set. And we're going to go through these, not necessarily rapid fire style, but we're going to go through here really quickly and just look at each one. You see Allen and Bristol there. This was probably 1990. As you see the back, 1989. Each card kind of gives you a little bit of information, talks about the race there, and it's numbered AK1 through AK30, facsimile signature there. And these were done, it looks like 1992. So these would have been probably done real close to the time that he passed in 93, or released in late 92 after he won his championship. I don't really have a lot of knowledge of this. There you see him. This is probably in 1990. And you see he has an AC spark plug patch there. Very unique to Alan, as he was the only Ford driver to regularly run AC Delco products, which is a General Motors product. Here you see Alan racing with Bill and Rusty Wallace in 1988. And I can tell that's 88 because of Bill's car has that huge blue stripe on the front. In 1987, that stripe would have been gold. And it looks like they're at Charlotte, so let's see what the back of the card says. Coke 600. Doesn't even give a year, but I know that that's the year that he finished 12th because he finished second in 1989. Here we have Alan, and if you look at the interior of the car, just how almost barbaric the inside of those cars look compared to now, where the drivers have so much more padding, so much more protection in the seat area, no head and neck device, no full face helmet. You know, very, very rough looking car for back then, but this was the pinnacle of safety back then. Now I want to say it's 88, but we'll double check. 89. Of course, it talks about all the safety equipment and so forth. This is definitely 89. You can tell by the body of the Thunderbird, because in 1990, well, he did have that sponsor in 1990 as well, and that's either Ricky Rudd or Brett Bodine going by in the pits. So let's look at the year. It says 1989, so that would be Ricky Rudd driving by him. And I guess he did blow his engine in 1989. I was thinking he was runner-up in 89 at the World 600, but now I think back, I think it may have been Sterling Marlin. But I know that it was an up-and-coming driver that finished second to Darrell that day. This looks like 1987 at Rockingham, digging those old Xerox all-red uniforms. So it says 1988, but I think that's 1987. And there's just another one. These two cards kind of threw me off, but you can see that in the pit stop sequence, they're in different. The crewmen are in different positions. I thought maybe I'd got a duplicate card. This was in 1991, the first year that he got Hooters sponsorship. Alan first carried Hooters sponsorship at the March race in Atlanta after Mark Stahl failed to qualify for that race. Mark had also failed to qualify for Daytona and the Daytona 500. Hooters wanted their car on the track. They put their name on Alan's car. Alan had won the pole at Atlanta, didn't have a sponsor, and the rest was history. Here you see Alan racing with Mark Martin. This would be in 1989, and I can verify that because this body style did not run in 88, and that car with the sponsorship did not run in 1990. So I know that that is 1989 without questioning it. This looks like 1987 or 88. They're definitely at Martinsville because that was the only track that had panel sweatshirts on the wall. Plus it was the only track at the time that had concrete laid in the corners instead of asphalt. You see asphalt in the higher grooves. The concrete was in the lower grooves because the modified cars used to tear up the concrete on the lower grooves. 1988. Here we have 1989, it looks like. Yeah, 1989 because Terry Labonte is here in the Budweiser Ford. That was Junior's first year in a Ford. So this is the 1989 spring race at Rockingham. How do I know it's a spring race? Because Dale Earnhardt is in a Monte Carlo and not in a Lumina. So this is a 1989 spring race at Rockingham. This would have been when Alan first came to NASCAR in 1985, had Hardy sponsorship in the ASA series, and part of the agreement of the Hardy sponsorship was that he run 5 NASCAR Cup Series races. This is Alan a little bit later when he had the Xerox sponsorship, probably about 1988. Yeah, 1988. Then we have Alan in Victory Lane for the first time with Hooters in 1991 at Bristol, the night race. That was a really good race. I think there were 3 cars in the lead lap that race. I know that Sterling Marlin was second, and I'm drawing a blank on who finished third. Now this looks to be 1987. I can't see what's on his hat, Mac Tools. Let's look at the back and see how close we are. Doesn't really give us any indication. Of course, Alan was an owner-driver for his whole career in NASCAR. I'm going to say it's either 87 or 88 based on the paint job on the car behind him, because this paint job debuted in 1989. That very colorful rainbow fade on the side. Really like that look. Here's Alan in his ASA days. Looks like he is racing with Mark Martin there in the Miller American car. And it's a 73 car maybe? Not real familiar. Drawing a blank. Don't even know what track they're at. Maybe it's definitely not Winchester or Salem. So let's take a look. It doesn't say. Could be Harold Fair. Here's another picture of Alan during his early NASCAR days, debuting. More ASA racing. There he is with Butch Miller in the background. And those of you who don't know what ASA was American Speed Association, it was actually based out of Pendleton, Indiana, which is about 20 minutes from where I live. They became a national series, and then the national series folded, I believe, after the 2004 season. But they raced late model cars and was a really good series that brought up drivers like Alan, Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Kenny Wallace, Rusty Wallace, and so many more other drivers came up through ASA. So it was a very, very competitive series, but it was also a low-cost series at the same time. This looks like Alan in probably 1989. Not 100% sure. 1989. This would be in 1992, the first year he used this paint job full-time. Because he kind of had that generic white with the Hooters company. And then they just kind of... It does say 1991. I guess that would be true because I'm looking at the owl on the hood. The 1992, the owl was more colored in and more darker. Plus, he had associate sponsorship from Classic Blenders and Naturally Fresh salad dressing, which I do not see in the orange bottom quarter panels of the car. Here's more ASA. And I find it ironic that he started and ended his Cup career in orange and white cars sponsored by restaurants that start with H. Very, very ironic there. In both his first and his last season, he only ran 5 races. He bookended his career that way, so it was really, really weird that way. Here he is in Victory Lane, first career Cup Series win, the Checker 500 at Phoenix. Passed Ricky Rudd late in the race. Ricky blew his engine. 1988. Looks like Richmond after the reconfiguration. It says 1989, but I know that's not correct because that's an 88. That's an 88 model Thunderbird, and he never ran an 88 model Thunderbird in 89. This is car 32, the Quincy Steakhouse Ford. He ran this car in his rookie season, Cup Series, 1986. Now, Alan did switch the number to 35 after this car was actually owned by a man named Bill Terry. A few races in, Bill Terry sold his team to Alan. Alan renumbered at 35 and went on to win Rookie of the Year. He had 1 top 5, 4 top 10s, led a handful of races, and finished 22nd, 23rd in points, won Rookie of the Year. Nice picture of Alan here in the Hooters livery with his uniform. Alan with a couple of his sponsor representatives here in probably 1992, not real sure. Then Alan always could be seen at the track with his Hooters polo shirts. He was always a businessman. Another Martinsville photo. You can tell by the Miller. Martinsville would run a would call the Miller 500 Classic, which would have a 200-lap modified race, a 200-lap Xfinity or then Busch Series race, and then a 100-lap late model race, all on the same day. A very nice triple header. But also, again, the pavement and the cement and the concrete, different, or the concrete and the pavement, asphalt, whatever, two different textures of paving there in the corners. It looks like we're down to our last card. This would be 1990. Alan wins his second career race at Rockingham near the end of the season. And this was about 2 races before Xerox would leave his team. And they cited in 1991 as the high cost of antifreeze production as their reason, because also in 1990, Peak Antifreeze left Kyle Petty's team, and Prestone Antifreeze left Lake Speed's team. So you had 3 antifreeze sponsorships leave all at the same time. But once again, this was a very attractive set. I got it on eBay. I think I paid about $8, $9 for it, and that was delivered. So hope you guys liked that and learned a little bit about a former NASCAR champion who was left us way too early because of that tragic plane crash in 1993 en route to Bristol. But at any rate, appreciate you guys sticking with us this morning and getting a little bit of a NASCAR history lesson. And I will be back with you guys later this afternoon. We'll go ahead and finish up these 3 packs of 2016 Heritage and maybe crack open one of those boxes of 2018 Certified. So I hope you stay tuned later this afternoon, and we will see you later. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.